There you are, sir. There you are. Hello. How's everybody doing? Good day to you. Happy Father's Day out there to the dads of the bunch. Happy day after my anniversary and day before my birthday. So there we go. So all those good things.
Just stacking them up there, huh?
Yeah. Yep. I figure might as well, Makes it easier when you're planning vacations and stuff. You can do like your birthday, anniversary stuff together. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's how most people view it.
Yeah. It just makes it easier.
Tell that to all the kids with December birthdays.
My wife's birthday's on Christmas Day. So, there's that.
It's got to be the worst.
Yeah, her birthday. She shares her birthday with Jesus.
Well, I mean, there's that, but then it's never your special day. Big deal about you.
Yeah, nobody ever remembers it's her birthday. They're like, "Oh, Merry Christmas," and then they're like, "Wasn't yesterday your birthday?" And she's like, "Yeah, it was." So, yeah, it is. It is what it is. But happy whatever day today. I mean, every day's a happy day. So, or at least it should be.
And it's summer solstice.
Yeah. And yesterday was since being married. Yesterday was 29 years. Yes, 29. Because today this is 2026. Yeah, so yesterday was being officially married was 29 years. Dating wise, we're at like 33. 33 since 1993. So yeah, it's been a while. So there you go. That math's not my strong suit, but I do remember those most of the time. We had like I said, we dated for 2 years, got engaged for 2 years, and then got married. So we started in 1993. Got engaged in 95, which was when she graduated school or shortly thereafter, I think it was. And then got married in 97. So, yeah. Now, Robbie, my oldest daughter came by and paid a visit. So, Brandy's probably going to miss the first part of the live. So, I think I'm free as long as she don't go back and watch the replay.
I was going to say, I was wondering if she was fact checking you.
No, my oldest daughter recently stepped out and kind of moved out to do her own thing. And so she came by tonight to have supper with us and kind of visit. So that's why I was running a little bit shy getting here. I was almost down to the wire, but luckily everything's already set up and ready to go. So I had to step away to come hang out with you guys tonight because we are on episode 185 and we can't start messing that up now. I mean, we've been consistent to this point forward, so don't want to mess that up.
Well, I was here ready to hit that button if I needed to. So
no, I was coming. I started to shoot you a text, but I was like, "Heck, I'm right here." I was on the front porch of the house, so it's not like I'm too far away. Yeah. So, what you been up to today? Over there, staying cool with your air conditioner, you said.
Yeah, it hasn't been that hot here. It did get up. I think my outdoor thermometer peaked at 80, so we've had a nice string of mild weather, and it literally was the day after I bought an air conditioner for the shop here. So I mean, it's been working, but it hasn't had to work too hard. But I did have it on today a little bit because I was moving some things in and out, and it was getting a little warm and some humidity. But it got down to 66 in here and chilly, so I turned it off just under the fan mode. But yeah, I've been I don't know. It's been kind of a mixed weekend of doing a little relaxing, a little bit of working, a little bit of home stuff. I don't know. It's just a little. I feel like I've been squirreling today, just from one thing to the other to the next. But
sometimes it's that way. You get too many tabs open, so to speak, and you got a lot going on. I've been having that. So I got my first video out with the laser pecker. I think the next video is probably going to be some tumblers or something. But I'm not in a hurry for that one because it's going to be a while. And of course, me and you both, I know, have been testing that. I did get the Omni X back to working, and like you said, it's not exact. Like if I make a 50 millimeter circle, it's not exactly 50 millimeters. But for what I use the machine for, it's functional. So I'm happy about that because, instead of 5, now I have a 12 watt. But I do have another machine that's supposed to be here this coming up week that I'll be testing that has UV capability as well as MOPA capability, as well as blue laser capability, as well as a bunch of other capabilities. So it's supposed to be coming in this coming up week. We'll see. And if that's the case, then it may change again what sits right there. So I don't know yet. I am still happy with the G-Week or G-Wake or however the heck you want to say it. I've been using it a good bit on some projects that I needed a blue laser for because I had the X-Tool sent me the F1 Ultra when it came out, but when the F2 Ultra came out during that little sabbatical to where they forgot who I was. And so I never got that one. So this is the most high-powered Galvo blue laser that I've had in the shop, and so far I'm really enjoying it. It's worked really well. So, but then when I get this new one in, it could give this one a run for its money. We'll see how that goes. So Steve's no, not necessarily. Now Steve's got some cool toys over there too. So what you got going on? I know there's one machine that you got in recently that I think it's time that you let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah. So I got to get through that thing first. That's the Creality A1C. It's not a blood glucose level meter. It's a laser. So yeah, that little. They have options are 5 watt or 10 watt blue diode, and then you can get a 1.2 watt IR module with it. So it's a beginner laser. I think it's priced at a beginner laser. If you're one of those people that does the TikTok stuff, I think they even have a deal on it, an entry level 5 watt for like $199. So this is a basic laser, but testing out to see if it, what it does for someone that's a new beginner. It's got some cool features. There's a camera, lifting bed platform. I think it's got about a 6-inch square working area, give or take.
Yeah, it's it's right around 150 inches on the Z. I think it's like 148. Yeah. It's not quite 150.
Yeah. So I mean, for someone doing small projects and such, wanting to get into it, so far it's performing all right. But I do have, and I just got all the boxes for so the Onefinity that's currently storing the IKEA Master. I've got the Gen 2 Elite in boxes with the Redline controller and the Redline spindle. So I need to figure out the process to clear that one off the bench, get the machine off there, and get the new one assembled. Get it configured with the spindle, get it configured with the Redline controller, and give that one a run for it. So that'll be a nice upgrade, because I had been looking at doing an aftermarket spindle upgrade on this, doing like a drag chain upgrade on it, some things like that, and a lot of the things they've kind of addressed in their newer models. So it'll be nice to update that one. I got this one originally as a woodworker back shortly after they launched it, so back in like 2020, then updated it to the wider Journeyman, but it's still the old original build Botics, running the Makita spindle and such. So yeah, it'll be that'll be a nice upgrade. I've been kind of saving some of my CNC projects for it, knowing that I would be working with that one, and so hopefully over the next, I hope to get it set up in the next few weeks. Kind of depends on some things, because we got the Clackleys coming to invade the north. So trying to coordinate all of that. And I've got some work things going on. And like I said, got some little things like this to finish up, and still working through some personal honeydew, me-do projects. But this is another thing I squirreled on today is, so everybody asks, what am I drinking? And so usually it's water, but I do use some of the water flavorings. And so a lot of times it's just the orange Mio, but Rich over at Louisiana Hobby Guy kind of turned me on to this stuff, the Stir Real Fruit. These are more natural flavors and everything on it. And so between my wife and I, we get a bunch of these. These are just a couple I was playing with. And so I'm going to hang this. We've got a spot kind of by the sink that a couple command strips will hold this up. And kind of a cool,
Velcro is great for stuff like that.
Kind of a cool thing with the True Flat. If you lightly engrave it, it just kind of roughens the finish, and it'll give you kind of that white look to it instead of the dark. So here's the test grid on it. You can kind of get both, through into the MDF and get that dark look, or up here you're just getting that.
Did you do that with a blue or CO2, or what'd you do it with?
Yeah, that was with the Alien Cell. That was with the 40 watt diode. It was about running at 600 millimeters a second, and 30% power did that.
Cool.
So yeah, playing around with a few things like that, trying to not squirrel too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, some things going on for sure. But yeah, check out I put a post out on my Facebook page and the group. I need to go back. I'll probably add one on my community one. We're trying to get the word out that, David is planning to be coming up, be here in 2 weeks, hopefully to be doing the live stream from here. But then that Monday afternoon, I'm trying to find a place and time. We do have a link for RSVPing out there. And we're going to be doing a meetup here in southern Minnesota, Mankato area. And I think right now we already have about 18 people interested. So it's gone from finding a picnic table or a bar table somewhere to I'm trying to find a good place.
We actually need a real space now.
Yeah, we might need a real space for that. So
that's shocking.
Looking forward to that. And also I'm making my list of hard to ship items that we're going to be giving away some door prizes here, some equipment that I'm not using that we've done some reviews and some projects with, and help me get things out of the way. So there will be some fun door prizes, definitely some diode lasers, maybe a Galvo fiber laser, maybe even a CNC router. So there might be a nice little mix of things to for people to take home. So I know it's a little tough on a Monday. We're going to try to do it, mid to late afternoon. So hopefully most people that are
if you do
reasonable distance can come.
Yeah, if you do have to take off work or something, hopefully it'll be in the afternoon. It'll be easier, but we're having to work with the schedule that we're given, and I'm having to work with Brandy's schedule as far as getting up there, turning around, getting back. I am dragging the family along for a family vacation. As we do this, so I don't want to, take too much away from that. You talking about the projects you've been working on. I want to show you something. This will be one of my first attempts at this. But I created my youngest daughter. Of course, she got promoted up in the bedroom selection, so she's moved into a new bedroom, and she wants a shelf to go in the corner of her room. Well, I happen to have a sheet of 1/2-inch ply in here in the shop. And of course I got a bunch of other wood and stuff like that too. So I created this today in Fusion. So I've got I can take the right wall off of it. So everything is kind of notched and slotted and so forth. So it's going to kind of go together like some IKEA furniture or something sort of, but it's basically just a lightweight shelf so she can display some of her figurines and dolls and stuff like that she has. She's also into like bugs and so forth, so she's got some pinned bugs. So I kind of drew this up, and I never really drew anything up for a CNC project in Fusion. So this is my very first attempt at that. I still ain't sure I like the way I've got this rounded. I may go back and take this chamfer here off and kind of round that in. I don't know yet. It's a work in progress. But yeah, so that's what I've got. That's what I've got going so far. This is, like I said, my very first furniture design that I've done in Fusion. Usually I'm doing 3D prints. This is the first time I've actually done a CNC project and laid out the stuff in the CNC project. So
yeah, I've shown snippets of it before, but I'm a very visual person, and so I do a lot of my design work in SketchUp in 3D, which also makes it nice that I can give people a visual of like this is what it's looking like,
yeah,
without having to like physically build it and such. And so actually, when I was working on this today, I just turned screen cap on, and I'll probably speed it up and just kind of talk through it real briefly, but figuring put a quick video together on that. I've done similar things to this before, so I'm probably not going to do as in-depth a video because, Facebook comment land has told me that sometimes I go overboard on that. So we're going to try this with a little bit faster project and show kind of my kind of a sped up version of my design process on that. But yeah, for some people, that's being able to see it in 3D in the software really kind of helps. And I'm going to go ahead and put a link to that's not it. The sign up for the meetup. If I can grab the right link. I love how Facebook messes up links. So yeah, if you are interested in coming to see us on the afternoon of July 6th, I do ask that you maybe just sign up. It's basically just your name, email, address, and like number of people coming with you. That way, as I figure out where it's going to be, or if there's any last minute changes, I've got a list of people that I can, I can at least send you an email out and saying, all right, here's the final details. So go ahead and hit that up. And yeah, we'll be planning for that. I'm crossing my fingers for good weather, because if we have good weather, I've got some nice outdoor places we could hang out, very family friendly places. But I'm also looking at a couple of indoor options that might give us some either a fun environment or at least a place that's cool, air conditioned. Maybe it'd have some food available too.
I'm going to say safe from the elements.
Yeah. Well, as of right now,
and then we have also, don't forget, in August we got the trip to Texas coming up. And I've got a couple of things that I've been trying to get rid of that, the local folks that can drive here can't necessarily or don't need or don't want or whatever. So I'm probably going to be bringing something with me to Texas. But when we get closer to the maker event, we're going to have a drawing before I go. Like if you're going to be there, you can enter the drawing if you're going to be there, but you got to be there to pick it up from me at the event. But so what we'll probably end up doing is I'm going to have a drawing before the drive over. That way you guys are the ones that are in the drawing and not a bunch of people that we've never met before. And so there'll be more than likely a giveaway from me, something that is in this shop at that time. And then you will like meet me in Texas and take possession of it. If you're able. If you're not going to be able to be there, then, don't enter because that's the way that the exchange is going to take place. Because some of this stuff you either have to, you can't disassemble it and put it in a box and ship it back. We get a lot of things that it's just not feasible to do that. And I hate that because it'd be nice, but it's just, without paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars for freight and putting it in a box the size of a couch, there's just not a way to ship some of this stuff. So. But yeah, we got that coming too. I don't think I'm gonna be able to bring anything up to Steve's because we're gonna be loaded on the way up there. I might if I get something small. We'll see.
Well, don't worry. I've been going through the shop and looking at things that are around that can get better use by someone else. So.
Yeah, I saw some comments in here. I'm trying to go through them. So if you do have a comment or question, be sure to drop those in there. I'm trying to go through them now. I've been doing some other stuff here. Let's see. But yeah, other than that, like I said, it's been pretty quiet around here. It's been busy though. I've got to do this Creality machine. I've been playing with it. It's a little different. like I said, it's smaller. It's the first time I've seen a small machine like that with a Z bed that raised and lowered.
Mhm.
Usually, if anything, the module comes down. Greg STL Woodworking said hello from New Orleans. He must be traveling because I know he doesn't live in New Orleans, so he must be on the road.
Norbert's asking both of us, how do you store your sheet goods? Do you store them flat or on edge? And do you use any storage solutions for that? Generally, when possible, I try to store them flat. But I have a couple of solutions I've used in the past, but I'm kind of in the process of moving things around. So mostly they're similar to what Clack's showing now. Is I got a couple shelves underneath some workbenches or laser benches, and I try to keep stack of material like the same material, same thickness, and in stacks like in the same size, kind of like you see Clack's got there.
Yeah, that's the way I break it down. These bigger sheets are for this enclosure because it's bigger. The pre-finished is up top. The non-pre-finished is in the bottom. So depending on the project or, the layer, whatever, I may not, want to have finish. And then you got smaller sheets of pre-finished for the square machines and like the alien cell and stuff. And then smaller sheets of the non-finished over there. And then I have some really small, hang on, if I can get it where you can see it. My really small pieces are stored over there on that shelf. Those are like, I think they're about 10 by 10 little squares that I keep cut for some of the really small machines and to use for, spoil boards on some of the engraving and stuff like that. So I've got quite a bit of plywood just sitting there. And then, of course, the really big stuff, the 1/2 inch and the 3/4 typically just stays propped up against that wall, but y'all never see that wall. So that's where the 1/2 inch sheet, I got a 1/2 inch and 3/4 full sheets stacked up right there. So yeah, I try not to get too much inventory as far as the sheets and stuff on hand because it's hard for me to keep up with. I do have my kiln outside that I've got a dehumidifier that stays running in there. That's where I keep my pine panels for the stove covers. Like I got some poplar boards in there I use for small projects. I got a little bit of my wood off the sawmill and stuff in there. But like right now, it's got a bunch of storage in it too, like machines and stuff like that as well. So it's about full, like extra hoses, extra fans. Like I got like the more crap I bring in here, I have to like find somewhere to put it. And that's why, me and Steve both, we're constantly trying to purge some of the stuff out of here.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, part of what I did today was I got to make a dump run tomorrow. So too many things with all that dense packing foam stuff coming in, along with some miscellaneous stuff. And since I was loading up the van for it, I started just going through some of my scrap, the thin, narrow strips of plywood, the weird random pieces. I'm like, okay, I got too many.
Yeah.
It's not, it's time to cull that down, and I don't like burning plywood here in the, just in my backyard.
That's the way I am. I mean, you see these pieces over here against the wall, I got all of this, like all of that over there. That's scrap, but that's 1/4 inch ply, but that's probably 8-inch thick stack. And I hate to throw it away because there's usable material on there, but I can't keep it all. Like that stack, if I didn't get rid of some of it and cull some of it, that stack would like run me out of here.
Yeah.
Because, it's just, I do use that when I need a small piece, or like if I'm trying to do a, prototyping jig or something like that, I'll throw a piece of it in the machine and use it. But I do so many of those names and stuff that it's just Klein and them will come over and I'm like, here, take some material, go make something with it. But both of them, last time I sent them a picture, I'm like, hey, come get some of this. They're like, dude, I got nowhere to put it. Like I'm full. And so I end up, like you said, culling it, using it for like, sometimes I'll take some of it and throw it over on the CNC and use it for like a punch through. If I'm doing something that I want to punch through, I'll use a piece of that so that I don't waste good material, because it works for that.
Yeah, funny you say that, because Jimmy DiResta just did a video on CNC tips, and that was one of the things he mentioned is he'll take, a big sheet of plywood that just like had letters cut out of it, but it makes a good like sacrificial board when you got to punch through, but it's still holding enough. So it's a good use for it. So
yeah, and then I've got some 4 foot by 4 foot squares of 1/4 inch ply over there also that I forgot about that I had for the other machines the really huge machines that I get in sometimes, and I use it for the CNC occasionally. But yeah, it's a lot of wood just stacked up everywhere.
So Diamond State Precision's asking, speaking of multiple capabilities, your opinion of a 400-watt fiber laser and a CO2 in the same desktop platform.
I know which machine they're talking about.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're talking about the new GWIC machine, the M Core. You know, I wish I could tell you. They had actually reached out to both of us, and I had told them that I would work with them on it, but they decided they only had so many machines and wanted to go with other people. So you've probably seen,
I opted out and took this instead because I thought I didn't have the room for the M Core, nor did I have the real need for it. So they sent me this. But
so it has about the same working area as a X-Tool P3, but a little more power on the CO2 range. And but then they do have the 400-watt fiber. Now, I will say that if you want to get the most out of that 400-watt fiber, you are going to be having to add a pretty high-end or high-capacity air compressor and or bottles of, you know, like oxygen and other gases. So it's getting rapidly out of the hobbyist realm, you know, unless you just have that kind of money for your hobbies. But as far as a combination machine, I think those are two types of cutting that for the most part would mix well. Now you are going to have, like, if you're cutting through metal, you got to keep in mind that's a little bit dirty and dusty in its own right. So there's definitely going to be more kind of cleaning and maintenance to try to, if you're switching between the two quite a bit. But I would be more comfortable mixing those two types of operations and types of cutting and the materials you'd work with it than some of the other machines that we've seen.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why I passed on the machine is because I don't do a lot of metal. Like I've got MOPA machines here in the shop that I use them occasionally, but it's just not that often. And my thing is metal is not what I got into, and so that's not really my core audience. Like my customer base is not really metal. Now, I had somebody last week ask me if I could cut out a metal sign, so I may have missed a little bit of money on that, but it's just not something I lean into because it's like me and Steve were talking about. Scraps will stack up. And if I start cutting metal, now I got metal scraps and I can't just go out and burn that. I've got to take that somewhere to a recycler and I've got to, like, you know, haul it to them and show your ID and all this kind of stuff around here to get rid of it. And it's just, and even if you cut it out, like if you cut metal, it's not like cutting wood to where you can sand it with sandpaper necessarily. I mean, you there may be, like, you're gonna have to grind the edges, smooth the edges out. And then a lot of metals, once you cut it with high heat like that, because I've got a welder, plasma cutter, I've got oxygen acetylene torches, I've got, you know, I can cut metal, but like some metals and stuff too, after you cut it like that, even though it might be stainless, it will start, some of it can start rusting because of the heat and all that. And that's just not something I want to get into. I mean, as cool as it sounds, it's just not, metal's not something I want to do in here. All right. Like, I have people call me all the time. Hey, I broke this on my tractor. Can I bring it by there and you weld it back for me? And like, my welder is buried in that red box over behind that ladder and it's got stuff all over it. I just don't fool with it no more. If my stuff breaks, I'll weld it, but I can't do it inside the shop because one of those little sparks wants to roll underneath something and find a little puddle of saw shavings that I didn't get cleaned up really good. It could lead to bad things. And so I just prefer not to have that in here. If I get me another shop later on and I can build me like a room that, you know, I can not worry about sparks setting stuff on fire, I do want to get me a plasma cutter or, you know, some type of metal cutting machine. But I need a space for that. I don't want to try to slang it in here with all this other stuff I got going on. It just doesn't fit for me. Because like I said, I grew up in a garage. My daddy, we did welding and cutting and fabrication and stuff like that in the shop. And I've seen stuff catch on fire because you splattered a little steel and didn't realize it or whatever. And I don't want that in my shop. It's just not right now.
So my thought with that machine is that would help contain a lot of that, and would be one of the few ways that I would be able to introduce a metal cutting machine into this shop. So,
Yeah, you still got to clean it up afterwards, though.
Well, right, but it shouldn't be. It's not like a plasma torch that's, you got a water bed or you're flinging it that much. So and like you said, it would hopefully be a dual purpose machine that would give me the capability of doing some light metal for the people that wanted it, but knowing that I didn't want a purposely built machine for it, that hopefully it would do both well enough that it would be able to take that on. Now, keep that in mind that 400 watt fiber is still kind of limited to about at most 1/8-inch cold or carbon steel and thinner on other metals. So you're not doing heavy duty metal work with this. This is more the people that want a sign out of 1/8-inch something or other.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like I said, it's not my thing right now. And if I had a dedicated space for metal to where I could clamp it down and grind it and do all those things, then maybe. And secondly is I just don't see how I'm going to make that much more money doing that. You know what I mean? I've got, like, I've been turning down sign jobs this past week. Like, I've told people, hey, I can't do it. I can't get to it. I got too much going on. So there's CNC sign jobs that I've been letting go. And the reason is because I got like Klein and Bill both, I've told both of them to learn how to use the CNCs so that they can take some of these jobs. And right now I got nobody, that I can send CNC work to. I can send laser work to people, but I can't send CNC work to them. So I've turned down 2 sign jobs for farms this week where they wanted a wooden sign done for their farm or whatever. So until it gets to where I don't have I can't find work, I don't think I need to add machines or add capabilities. Let's put it that way. We'll stay in my little wooden engraving sandbox for now.
Rob Wilson's asking, hey, gents, question about the F2. I ruined a Yeti because the image was mirrored. This is my first time using the rotary. Is that normal?
If you put the rotary in there backwards, it is. Yes. Yeah, it happens. And depending on what software you're using too. I mean, if were you using Lightburn or were you using Xtool software? Because it usually shows you, it has a little illustration like showing you put the rotary like this. So
yeah, it can happen if you have the rotary backwards. I don't remember. I thought maybe at one point there was maybe a bug in a certain version that was messing them up as well. But I would, if it's your first time doing it, I wouldn't jump right to a Yeti.
I don't like doing Yetis anyway.
I would grab grab an empty pop can, put some painter's tape on it or something, do some tests like that just to kind of get used to the alignment, where it's going to put it, and making sure that it's running right. Because sometimes you'll notice you got it in there backwards or you forgot to check a button or something like that. So kind of sucks to ruin a big material like that. But I usually, even a 1-inch dowel in a chuck will, you can do some basic small stuff and get that tested out. But generally it's because it's just facing the wrong way.
Yep. Yeah, that happens. But like you said, either some painter's tape in practice or cans, toilet paper rolls, even. Like toilet paper rolls are one of those things that, I mean, you don't have to have a whole lot of power, but those you can set your rotary and play with your rotary with those.
Bob Filson's asking, is there a way to add air assist to the Monport 65 not pro version, so no RUI to control, and use Lightburn to turn on and off? I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look at the GRBL version or not. I forget which one it is, a laser or something. So I don't know that has that relay option in there. I believe the physical aspects of it are the same. So you could go in and unplug the stock pump and put a manual air pump, just have a manual on off. But I don't know about having the relay controlled by it because I haven't been able to dig into one of those machines.
Yeah, I haven't either. What's up, HTL Customs in the house? How are you, sir? Greg saying, I hope you use my affiliate link for that Onefinity.
Nope. That was I think it was Stone that reached out to me. So
Yeah.
there was no affiliate link.
What's 5% of nothing?
Yeah. AGT Restorer is asking, how's the show? So yesterday I was at the Rockler woodworking store in Burnsville, Minnesota. They were doing a celebrate local woodworking. They had the Southern Twin Cities CNC group there. They had the scroll sawing group there. They had the Minnesota Woodworkers Guild there showing some things. They had some bowl turning demonstrations, and then another creator showing the Tormek tool sharpening and such. And so they had invited a friend of mine who is a content creator that works with them. He's Mark with Gunflint Designs. He said they were asking him to come up and asked if I wanted to ride along. I said, sure, be fun. And so went up there, hung out for a few hours and talked with some people and looked around the store and resisted buying a bunch of stuff and, and came back home. They actually were, so that's the store that handles all the returns from the online. I think I've mentioned that before. And they were doing kind of a blowout sale this weekend, like 75% off the prices on those things. So they're already discounted. And it was pretty well picked over. But there were some of those, what is it? That kind of like drill adapter that you got that kind of
the drill guide.
Yeah, the drill guide. They had a few of those there. I was tempted to pick one up, but
hey, it's pretty handy. Like I don't have a drill press and I don't have room for one, but the little things that I need to to make sure I'm straight up and down with, it works great. I love mine.
So no, it was a good time. It's fun talking with some people up there and seeing people come in and check out the store.
Yep. Well, look who it is. Mr. Eric from over at Valley Forged. How are you, sir? And of course, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Jack in the shop, in the house. Yeah, and Jack's the one that taught me into making that thing. Mine's not powered up because I don't have an extra USB plug over there, but it does have lights in it. I just don't have it powered up right now.
Oh, trying to get a little caught up here, but
yeah, Diamond State was saying it's on my radar. I was just wondering what type of maintenance, cutting, and engraving metal will have on a CO2 system and vice versa. I mean, like I said, I can't speak to that because I've never had a laser that would cut metal, but I've done lots of grinding and stuff like that in my shop before, and I said, it's going to, especially if you're running that kind of air pressure through it and it's cutting metal, it's going to create some particulates, some metal particulates. Maybe it, contains all of it, though. But metal dust is no joke. First couple of times I went and had an MRI done, and they were like, have you done this and done that and done this and done that? And I'm like, oh, my gosh, because I had just done a welding job like the weekend before. And I'm like, please tell me I didn't like inhale a bunch of metal dust and it's fixing to like rip me apart when I go in his MRI. I was paranoid. It's like,
be careful with that.
Yeah.
Chuck's asking, in your opinion, given the two, Fox Alien or Genmitsu, upgrade 300 watt spindle or router?
I say no on the 300 watt if you can avoid it.
Yeah, so if you're trying to stay under $1,000, you're probably gonna get the better setup with the Genmitsu 4040 Pro Max that comes with the trim router. Of course, I should say that I should double check their current price.
Unless their prices have went up.
But the Fox Alien, I think, was maybe 500 to 1,000 more for a similar setup.
Yeah, so, it runs a little more expensive.
But with that one, you get the closed loop steppers. So it's a little bit of a trade-off. Do you need it in a machine that size? Probably not. But yeah, the 4040 Pro Max I think is kind of right now it's $859, and that'll come with the 710 watt trim router, linear rails, and regular steppers, but performs very well.
I was gonna say the 4040 Pro Max does a really good job. The Masuda 3S that me and you have does a good job too. But like you said, it's going to put you just a little bit over 1,000 for the Masuda.
Yep.
So as far as dollar per dollar, I think the Genmitsu probably would be the better approach. But now, if you already have a router and you wanted to, you know what I mean, you wanted to go ahead and just upgrade the orange one. if you want to go ahead and just do the upgrade right out of the box, I think doesn't it come with the trim router adapter on the Masuda?
I think it comes with the 65 millimeter mount.
So I think if you have a compatible router already, then that might be a variable also. Yeah. Fox Alien. I don't know why I went blank. It's Nat. It's still in my shop. Oh, I got you.
ETLC is asking, what's the best way to paint engraved letters without it bleeding out? Do I need to stain and varnish before I engrave, or do I need to engrave, then stain and seal before I paint? Depends on how you're going to finish it off and how deep you're going. Either way, what you're going to want to do is engrave and then clear coat, seal the letters. Now you can, if you can go deeper, like if I'm doing it on a CNC machine on thicker wood, I'll go a little bit deeper, and I won't worry necessarily about masking. You cut your letters out, you seal the whole thing, you paint them in, and then you can run a finishing pass, or I can run it through the drum sander, just take that top layer off and exposes the natural wood. But you want to seal the edges of those letters where they're engraved. Now, if you're on a laser, you might not be going deep enough to do that. You might want to actually use a paper-backed masking, and then seal that down really nice, engrave through it, and then put your clear coat over that to kind of seal in the fibers, and then go back over it with your paint. Then you can remove the mask when it's all dry. But yeah, to really stop it from bleeding, you want to seal off those fibers that it's going to bleed through. And to do that, you just want like a clear coat sealer, something not too deep that's going to fill it all in, but just like a spray on clear coat that's going to fill in those fibers and prevent it from bleeding.
Yeah, that's definitely the approach that I take. I use typically I'll use some of the polyacrylic if I'm using acrylic, just the regular craft paints or whatever, and I'll just hit it with that polyacrylic, let that stuff sit in there, and it also makes your painting go a little quicker because it kind of like primes it and keeps the wood from absorbing as much of the paint. So it absorbs the clear coat, and then the paint just kind of sits on top of the clear coat. But just make sure that whatever you use as a clear coat will adhere good to your paint. There are, you don't want to use like water-based base and then clear coat and then like an oil-based paint. You want to make sure you match those up. Trying to go through the comments.
Direct Attack. I finally set up my Eufy Make E1. My first attempts to print on clear, glossy cast acrylic, peeled right off, cleaned with 99% IPA. Any tips? Yeah, I've had mixed results. I did had good luck with it on the backlit signs, and so that may have just been that batch of acrylic. But there are definitely some promoters you can get, but just keep in mind those can also leave a bit of you got to clean it off anywhere, but that needs to be clear. So if it's a solid piece that gets cut out or that you're going to paint over the whole thing with the E1, then great. You can just put a promoter on that. Surprised that the IPA didn't do it for you, but sometimes you got to make sure when you're doing that, wear gloves, don't get any oil on it, make sure there's no dust on it, make sure it's very dry, and make sure the alcohol is clean, but kind of do it pretty quick so it doesn't pick anything else up. That being said, anything that's glossy and just doesn't have any grip, it's going to struggle to adhere to it. So definitely try some of the promoters that you can buy. Those tend to do a little bit better job than IPA. If it's something that doesn't have to be super crisp, you could even try just really high grit sandpaper just to give it just a little bit of a frost, and then let it paint to it. But it could mess with. It depends on if you're trying to go from one side to the other. If you're just trying to get it on the clear, and again, if you need any, if you're not covering the whole surface, then you're going to see any of that. So it needs some way of binding to it.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of hard like glass or just straight up metal stuff. I've done a lot of like 3D printed plastics and stuff like that, and I've had really good luck with it staying. The 2 or 3 things that I have done, like metallic, harder materials, it's holding up. Like that one sticker I put on that tumbler, that thing's been through the dishwasher 10 or 12 times, and I've used it out here in the shop, and so far it's staying. But it was a powder coated tumbler, so the powder coat kind of gives it something to grip to, I guess. So it depends. Valley Forge says, question to both of you. Anybody has one? What are your latest thoughts on the alien sale? Just got one. Have watched all the videos. Just looking for current thoughts. It's a good machine. The software still, I think it still needs some polishing, but all in all, the software is pretty good. I mean, like I said, you're not going to be designing really complex designs in their software. If you may want to stick with Inkscape or whatever your design software of choice is, or Lightburn for that, because there are some tools that it's missing. But for the most part, the Alien Cell, the machine hardware wise, has performed really well for me. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of as permanent as it can be out here on my shop. It's the one on the bench. For diode, it's very fast. Its acceleration, it's hard to beat that, and so it's very quick compared to other ones. With the 40 watt, you definitely get plenty of power for cutting and some dark engravings. As Kleck said, the software still needs it. If you're used to Lightburn, if you're used to Xtool Studio, it's still missing some features, and so I primarily use it for job setup. Even on doing this with some of these graphics that I was trying to import, it wasn't like in the vector format, so I had to dump them into Lightburn, retrace them, export them as an SVG, and then it worked fine. So some of the other formats it doesn't necessarily like to import right, but overall, like the machine. Couple of things that I think are maybe a little bit of a concern is they've got the pre-filters on the fan units. You got to watch those because those can get gumped up, and you got to clean them out, which isn't bad until you forget about it. Yeah, I mean it's not the cheapest machine out there, but the speed really makes up for it if you're trying to work with it. It's got a nice big 24 by 18-inch working area. It's one of the larger enclosed diodes that you can get right now too. So
yeah, it's actually got it's the second biggest work area in my shop right now as far as lasers go. Oh,
yeah.
And it's fast. I do like the built-in controller in the front. Like you can set, because I've got files that I burn a lot saved on the controller, so I don't even have to come over here and log into the computer. I can just send them from the front of the machine, and I like that. I got spoiled with that with the 3D printers, and I like the technology being implemented into the lasers, because like some of my packaging stuff, if you've ordered a Bigfoot from me, I use these boxes that come in, and I cut them up to make like packing materials with. And so I've got the file saved on the machine. I just walk over there, throw some cardboard in there, hit the file, and send it. So yeah, it's a good machine. I like it. There's supposed to be some more or another wave of release of the different accessories and stuff coming soon. So stay tuned for that. I don't know that I can disclose everything, but I know there's some stuff coming out.
Yeah, I think they're finally getting the rotary out, and the riser it needs the riser for the rotary work from what I understand.
Yeah, it was a riser, rotary. Hang on, let me make sure I don't lie here. Uh, yeah. Yeah.
Because they already have their
This is a long email.
they already have their fume extractor out.
Yeah.
I told them I'd love to, as we get closer to winter, I'd love to be able to test one of those out instead of dumping my heat outside. But because it looks like kind of a similar to the X-Tool AP2, but maybe only a couple fewer filters in the stack. It's not necessarily the thing you want to run in a production environment, but if you're using it occasionally or for smaller jobs, it definitely can help keep the air inside your shop a little more, a little less escaping and doing okay on the filtering. At least my experience with the AP2. Now, you get it on heavy cutting, it's going to probably struggle over time too. It's going to get clogged up faster.
Yep.
But yeah, so far I've been using it for a lot of the odd jobs and such, and enjoying it.
Oh yeah, mine's actually it's on my main line up here, and like I said, I haven't found another machine that I want to replace it with. So I like the laser packer, but the work area is smaller than the alien cell. But other than that, not an issue with it either.
Yep.
Rob says, "Nice to see me with my orange cup." Yeah, I've got several of these orange cups. So, and when you see me with an orange cup that looks like this, because that's the problem. People are like, "Oh, you need to do another tumbler video." Well, the problem is if I don't have an order that I'm working on, I end up with just more of these because I've got so many different tumblers. And of course, this is a 3D print file here that I made. So this is just kind of like a mug for your drinks.
So you got Rich, Louisiana hobby guy in there, and he says, yeah, the riser, the rotary, and a brand new stripped down machine. So
the light. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to go into too much details on all the stuff because I don't know how much of it they made public yet. But yeah, they didn't give me a date on the rotary yet, so I didn't know. But like I said, I'm not trying to push. I'm not pushing for anything to come into the shop for the next couple of months between now and August. I'm trying to stay open because I've got, like I said, some other stuff still coming.
Trade Skillers Anonymous, JR says, did some window shopping today at Thunder. Seems they're definitely transitioning towards RF arrangements and moving away from glass tubes. And I get that from an engraving standpoint. But I'll be curious as far as people who still want to do some heavy duty cutting. I would think they would still want to offer, a higher power CO2 in the glass tubes. They tend to have that raw cutting power, but yeah, there's a shift. There's more places coming out with, RF technology, and I think the cost of it's come down. It's nothing new. It's been around for a long time. It's just really expensive. So I think that cost has been coming down to make it a little more affordable, and some of the more mid to kind of, I'm not going to say the low tier per se, but getting it closer into the hands of higher end hobbyists and small businesses anyway.
Yeah, well, they've converted all of their, like, they're phasing out glass tubes altogether, all the way up to their Nova 63, which is an 80 watt, is an RF tube now through Thunder. So now it's a hefty price tag. It starts you out at a measly $18,000. But
and again, I'd like to see, for a person who's doing more cutting than engraving, I'm wondering how that's going to work out for them.
Yeah. Well, they're because I've been watching it too, but they're saying 3/4 inch wood or 1 inch acrylic is what they're saying. Now I'm sure you have to change my lenses to be able to pull that off. I don't think it's not going to be one lens fits all, I'm sure. But yeah, the thing is with me though, is you've just separated yourself from the hobbyist market now at 18 grand. I mean, you're on up there pretty good. Like now you've kind of left OMTech in a good spot when it comes to the hobbyists.
Well, and you know how manufacturers like to state their maximum cutting thickness. I mean, generally it is technically possible, but it is like right on the edge, and it is hideously slow. So that's, most of my videos, I'll run through some of the tests and say, yeah, sure, maybe under these special circumstances that can happen, but realistically, this is what I find is safe and reliable cutting. So, and it's usually about 2/3 to 3/4 of the thickness they state on typical materials, because a lot of times those are just ideal.
Well, and it's perfect. Material. It's perfect storm settings too. If you got a knot or a glue pocket or whatever, it may not work. So like I said, I've been seeing that too, because like they have been purging a lot of their machines and going to just the RF tubes. But like I said, and I get it for a lot of people, but I don't know. Me personally, I don't know that I want to. If I can do the job with a $5,000 laser, I don't know that I want to spend 18. You know what I mean? I just don't know that it's. I don't know that I'm there. Which I guess I'm not their audience either for those machines. Just like Epilogue, I'm not really Epilogue's. I'm not one of their customers. They don't want me as a customer.
So I wonder what that means for like One Laser, because I know they've had both their RF and their
One Laser. Most of their machines are tubed machines now, but they have their One Laser RF series too. So I think they're getting the tubes that were on the shelves or whatever, from what I can see. And I've also saw that One Laser is now being sold by SaneSmart. If you go to SaneSmart's website, they list One Laser as their lasers. So it's right there beside the Genmitsu 4040 Pro Max is a One Laser. So there's some moving parts going on over there.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Like I said, right now I don't have a need for anything bigger. I could use it, but I don't have a need for it to where I'm wanting to spend a bunch of money at the moment.
iSports Store is saying, I have a WeCreate 45 Pro. I would like to use Lightburn wireless. Can this be done? Unfortunately, not natively. Lightburn doesn't like to work with wireless setups. You can sometimes use like a COM port over IP adapter to make it think it's one, but no, not natively. You'd have to stick with their software to do it that way.
Yeah, the Ortur Laser Master 3 worked really well across Wi-Fi, but that's the only Lightburn Wi-Fi operated machine I've ever had in the shop that was dependable. Like, it worked good. I don't know where that technology went, if they just lost it, quit using it, or what, but the LM3 worked excellent across Wi-Fi.
And I don't know if they're the same, but back in the day, Lightburn's stance was they felt that practice was dangerous because they wanted you to be in kind of direct connection and in the vicinity of the laser. They were concerned about people operating them from, further away. And so they didn't necessarily like to support it back then. I don't know if they've changed since then.
Rob saying no, X-Tool software, XCS rotary was on the right and preview showed good. Got me then, unless you got the wrong pigtail or wires or something. There is a button in the image that you can mirror it in the software, but I've never had one that was set up correctly run reverse on me. So I don't know. I've never had that happen. I'm not saying it can't happen. It could, but I've never had it happen. Yeah, Jack's talking about a water jet. I wouldn't mind having a water jet, but the thing about those things is they are extremely expensive. And with a water jet too, you have consumables in the form of that whatever the particulate is that you have to put in the water, the abrasive.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have consumables, and you taking that abrasive material and pumping it through a system, it's going to wear stuff out. Like I said, right now I've got enough work to keep me afloat, and I'm really not trying to get into anything too specialized. I'm just going to stick with the tools that I've got, the customers that I have, and go for it. I know a lot of people will tell you that, if you buy this machine, you can expand your business and make millions of dollars. Well, it's not really my goal. My goal is to have fun in my shop and make a little money along the way. I'm not trying to be the next big thing, so
I think that's why I didn't get that machine, was that wasn't going to be my approach with it.
Yeah. Well, it never is. It's like, you get those emails, like, cause me and you both work with companies that'll send you that email. Hey, this would be a good idea for a video. Do a video that says, I can't sell these fast enough, or, buy this laser, and I don't do that. I mean, I know why other people do it. I just don't do it, because it's not my thing. It's not my style. It's not the vibe that I want to have. So, like I said, I make enough money doing what I do that I'm content. I don't have to try to jerk people around or do anything too elaborate to keep going. Well, I am saving for another shop. I do want to build me a bigger shop with an office that doesn't have dust in it, but I'm on about a 3-year plan for that. I'm hoping that within 3 years I can get it done, but we'll see.
Yep. Kevin Parsons saying, I'm still getting overburning with it. S1 air assist on full ideas. You can't always completely eliminate it. But there's a few things you can do. Sometimes, moving too slow will add extra staining and burning. And so it might, if you're looking for a clean cut, but maybe not the fastest cut, sometimes doing 2 passes, keep that laser moving, keep the vapors not as dense, will help out with that. And sometimes the air assist nozzle on those is just too wide, and you need a little tighter jet. It's not something that's easily fixed. There's like the temporary fix of putting tape over it and letting the beam kind of burn just a beam size hole through it will be a temporary fix, but that's a little bit of a fire hazard for long-term use. But it's a good way to kind of test to see if maybe the air assist nozzles maybe got too wide of an opening on it. But yeah, it's hard to eliminate it 100%. A lot of times you're still going to have a little bit here and there, especially like the start of a cut. There's nowhere for it to go when it's just first blasting through. When it slows down, sometimes, that'll have an impact as well. And then on the flip side, you run the risk of flashback or a little staining wherever there's meeting the honeycomb or the the knife bed or whatever. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. First of all, if you're going too slow or too fast, it's going to cause different reactions to the material. You don't want to go so fast, of course, that, you're not cutting through, but you don't want to go so slow that it's just sitting there heating up the material and making that smoke circulate around the wood. So if you're not doing really good speed and power tests, make sure you're doing those. And also make sure your lens isn't dirty and you don't have a focus issue. Because if your lens is dirty or if your lens is chipped and you're not exactly focused, you can still be cutting, but you can also be generating excess heat in the cut because it's not perfectly focused and lead to more smoke, i.e. more staining. So I would check those things too, just to make sure. Because, I mean, a dirty lens you wouldn't think it would, but it can disrupt the beam enough to make it generate a little bit more smoke than what it normally would.
Don's asking, what do you guys think of the X-Tool M2? I just ordered one. I would relate the X-Tool M2 as kind of like a good step up from the original D1 machine. It's enclosed. It has multiple positioning features. The print head not a big selling point for myself. I had their M1 Ultra, which has a similar style. It was just it didn't have the black, so it had to mix all the inks to do colors on there. And I think the issue you're probably going to run into is the ink color is going to be highly dependent on the base you're printing it on. So if you're printing on wood, you know, if it's a loose grain, if it's not, you know, maybe even finished beforehand, it's going to soak in, and that's going to dull those colors. And then if it's really porous, like a pine or something, it could even bleed a little bit. But I don't know. I think it's probably a decent like beginner laser, or someone who's just really looking for that kind of craft room, occasional laser kind of thing. If you want to do a lot of engraving, I think it's been great. But I don't believe they really gave people good options for a lot of cutting, because I haven't seen like a good cutting plate for it. I don't think there's room for honeycomb. So, you know, it's not my cup of tea, because I've kind of I do a lot of cutting, and you know, I wanted bigger space, but I can see it being kind of if you were using a D1, or if you're the type of person who was looking at a D1 before of just doing a lot of engraving, I think, yeah, it's probably a decent option then.
Yeah, I think it's going to be as good as a 10-watt diode can be. I mean, you know, it's not going to be a powerhouse. They did kind of seem to me they're targeting more the crafter than they are the woodworker with that machine. Somebody that's doing like heavy card stock, paper, stuff like that. Because little known fact, with your laser, and a lot of times with these smaller machines, I get into it, but with your lasers, you can engrave paper. Like this is basically just real thick craft paper, like you would use to make like cards and stuff like that with. And I did some engraving on it with the Creality machine, because there are people who, you know, would, you know, like Maymay's folks that do paper crafting or scrapbooking and stuff like that, that might want to engrave horses or engrave a drawing on a piece of paper and then like cut it out with a laser. I mean, so that's kind of the crowd that I think that machine was designed for. They offered me that one, but like I said, I don't do enough of this kind of stuff. I just didn't feel like it was. I just didn't want to try to work it in with everything else I had going on, because I think like you could make a cool card with it if you were doing like this heavy stock paper and stuff. But I do more wood. You know what I mean? I'm not doing paper as much. I just do this kind of stuff just to test it, to be able to tell you guys that you can do it. And as you can see, you can. So.
Yeah. Trade Skiller Nana was asking me, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being best, how do you feel about X-Tool P3?
It depends.
I mean, yeah, it's you know, it's a good 80-watt CO2 laser. As far as power, it seems to be performing with what I would expect an 80-watt to perform like. It has a lot of features that like to hold your hand. They have a lot of their I think they call them their auto creation system, which can be nice for a person kind of jumping into it. Like if this is your first laser, or maybe you're stepping up from a more basic diode and want to get into CO2 and you jump this route, it's going to hold your hand a lot with that. And you can turn a lot of that off if you want less automation and a little more production. But I think X-Tool throttles their equipment for end user success versus straight performance. And so I think from if you're the type who has, you know, jigged up things that you're going to be cutting a bunch of them one after the other, and you're not customizing each one, it might not be the machine for you. And if you really have a good setup for doing rotary work, I think there are other machines that are going to go faster than this one. But if you want to do a lot of kind of one-off creating, I think it does have some features that maybe help you be a little more successful with the randomness and the one-off stuff. So the other thing that is, I mean, they pack a lot into a small area. So if you're not running this thing like 10, 12 hours a day, it doesn't take up as much room as other lasers similar to it. You know, they used a lot of the working area for the bed. Now the trade-off to that is there's not a lot of area for its water chiller. There's not a lot of area for the air pump and things like that. There's not as much area for the air extraction. So you do suffer in some of those areas. So, you know, if you're doing a lot of heavy cutting and you just like drop and replace, restart the job, I think there are better lasers out there for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that lands on that number scale. I mean, I'm still happy with it. I've got it set up here and I still use it. But if I was doing the production work that I used to in, you know, creating airplane kits and accessories and things like that, I think I would feel a little handicapped with it. But doing, you know, more creative one-off creation stuff, I think it actually works pretty well. The camera and the stitching is awesome, you know, because you can tell it to, you know, it'll take as many pictures as it needs, you know, with the top-down camera and get that fairly accurate. But there's definitely pluses and minuses. There's definitely cheaper 80-watt CO2 lasers out there.
Oh yeah. Santa saying, I wonder if it's underpowered. Maybe the air compressor would take care of it. If it's a X-Tool S1 with the air compressor that came with it,
air pump.
Air pump, yeah, with the air pump that come with it, it's fine, and you're not going to get the same results, in my opinion, from an air compressor because that variable speed in the cut, adjustable in software, air assist is pretty awesome. If like I said, it's going to be either material. Because some materials you just can't, you're not going to cleanly punch through them. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Some glues, some resins that they use on material is going to cause staining, and there's really not a way you can do about it unless you mask it, clear coat it first before you cut it to make it easier to clean up, or just hit it with some sandpaper, which I usually just hit it with some sandpaper. Because it's just some materials are going to leave, it's going to leave a mark. What was that stuff that me and you tried that time that had like dental floss in the middle of it from like Lowe's or Home Depot? It was Home Depot, wasn't it?
No,
and it literally had strings inside it.
I think it was Lowe's. I think I found a scrap of it and I put it in my van to toss it. But yeah, there's some that has just
I got rid of all of it, but
that fibrous stuff through it.
Yeah, it had like the pieces of dental floss or something ran through the middle of it, and you couldn't get a clean cut on that stuff. Like it gummed up anytime you cut it.
Yeah.
So I love the stuff that I've got right here because this UV pre-coated stuff right here. Like when I get through cutting this, I hit it with some rubbing alcohol, wipe it with a rag, and it looks like brand new. Like that and True Flat. The True Flat, I hit it with a little bit of water because alcohol will cause it to peel. But with the True Flat, I hit it with some water and go with it. But yeah, it's not the air compressor with the S1 works really well. I wouldn't go messing with that. Kind of like it's like this laser pecker one that has the variable speed. It's pretty handy.
They're air pumps.
Pump compressor, yeah.
There's a difference.
I know, but you get the picture.
I'm just saying.
You get the picture. Somebody's asking about my. Oh yeah, that 6050 is a beast. Just don't be trying to tote it around nowhere.
Yeah, the 6050 is a decent machine. Depending on your budget, you may want to look at their 2x2. It's physically it's just a little bit deeper, but you know it's a fairly decent. They've got some decent upgrades to that as well. So, but if you're looking for a stout machine, the 6050 or the 2x2 from them are pretty good.
Somebody was asking about my drill guide. Oh, Radu was. That's it, Radu. It works really well. It's got a handle like right here. You can set it at an angle. Like it's got angular settings. It's like got self-centering studs you can put in here and make it self-centering. It's like really good little chuck right here, and you can use it with either an impact or a drill, depending on your preference. I've got it set up. I use it with my countersink bit for the handles on my stove cover. And you see it's got really good bearings in that chuck right there. And it's got adjustable for your depth. You can adjust it here for plunge and all that. I mean, it's handy. I use it for doing the handles on my stove covers because I don't have a drill press, but this works awesome. You just set it on there like that. You can clamp it if you need to. If you're doing something, really heavy, you can clamp it to it just to make sure it don't move if you want. I mean, but what I do, I'm just basically drilling holes for handles. It works good. Santa's asking, is the riser coming anytime soon for this alien sale? The way they're talking, yes. I think it was like August or so is what they were hoping for. They didn't give me a definite time, but that's what I gathered from the email. What's up, Rich? I forgot to speak to Rich. Rich in the house. David Pingle says it's an alien cell water cooled. No, it's a diode laser, just air cooled, typical air cooled laser. Yep, Rich answered that one too.
Slow.
Yeah, the only water cooled, Ryan said there are liquid cooled diodes. The only water cooled one that I've dealt with was the X1 from Acemer and the Glacier from Adam Stack. Both of those were water cooled, but now they were over 100 watt powered too. Not Rich. The Acemer X1 was water cooled as well. I did like the compressor on the Adam Stack better than the one on the Acemer, but both of them still working. Trying to go through these questions. So if y'all got another question, throw it out there. Steve's done quit answering questions on me.
I'm trying to find something real quick.
So if it gets quiet, I'm sorry, guys.
Let's see if that works.
Rich is saying that the LX2 works with Lightburn over Wi-Fi. I haven't tried it on Lightburn or over Wi-Fi. I mean, I took their word for it that it worked, but yeah, I hadn't tried it over Wi-Fi.
Well,
Jack says that is under Luan. What's he talking about? I'm not sure what he's talking about. If you're talking about this, no, this is not. This is 4.7 millimeter birch UV coated one side. The other
I think
side.
he was talking about the stuff we had got. I don't know that it was explicitly called Luan.
Oh yeah.
I know
it had a weird name.
Yeah, there was something that some people had recommended from.
Was it Blondewood? Blonde something?
I don't remember, but I want to say I got it from Lowe's because my local Lowe's is like an hour away ish. And so I don't like going there, but people were really recommending a couple types of woods there. And I know one of them, I think, was that type, whatever it was. And I was just like, this stuff is.
I'm going to say it was called Blondewood.
No, I don't know. But anyway.
The stuff that I got. I don't know. Alex Pugzoo says, what do you mean by heavy cutting? Like lots of cutting. Like cutting's going to be a big part of what you do. There are people that have laser engravers that don't cut. They just buy pre-cut blanks or they engrave things that are already put together. They don't really cut. Now, a lot of people will cut some stuff, but there are people that I've talked to that like they have no desire in cutting. They just want to engrave. They want the beautifulest engraved, the fastest, smoothest, cleanest engraved they can get. So it depends on what you're going to do. It's like with any tool. It depends on what you expect it to do as to which machine or tool best fits your needs. Yeah, Lowe's. He said Diamond State saying Lowe's does have some blonde wood. Saw it today. I don't know if that's the name of it or if that was that's just sticking in my head for some reason. But it was terrible. Like you could cut that stuff like slow and steady, and it would not go through it. Like it would just make a mess. So, Billy Powell says I bought a sheet of the stringy blonde wood to try, and it was not a good idea. Maybe that is what it's called. I don't know. But if you see something called blonde wood, be careful. Be cautious.
Well, I'm going to give up. It's not working.
I probably, if I dug around in this shop, I probably still got. I know there's none over here because I ran slap out of plywood the other day. Because see, I go to Rugby. I get all my plywood now at Rugby. As far as like this UV pre-finished stuff, I go there and get it. I don't buy a whole lot from like I'll still get some stuff from Lowe's, like their cherry or their oak plywood, stuff like that. Mostly so that people can, go in, especially if they're in my area, and try to get the same material. But now Rugby's got places all over the country too. So there's that.
Mark's asking, how well does COM port over IP work? I'd like to be able to not do a cable connection to the laser, still in the shop, just the cabling would be nice to get rid of it. It really depends on the equipment. I mean, anytime you add a device and a conversion, you're adding possible headaches, possible, bit loss, possible failures. So it's the only thing I would do if you absolutely needed to.
Yeah.
Now, some of the newer machines actually seem to work better over Wi-Fi than over their direct USB connection, which is a little odd.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, some of the Wi-Fi is now getting to where the speeds are up there, like competitive with USB transfer rates.
Well, and also, I mean, USB. There's so many USB devices on computers these days that they have so much bandwidth that they share amongst all the devices. Yep. So there are a number of reasons why that would be beneficial, but
yeah,
it's kind of like having inverters and other things in your electric. You're always going to have chance of loss and overhead there.
Rob says, Clack, follow up on my rotary question. I downloaded the Bigfoot and cut it out. How do you mount the end support? The end support? If you're talking about the little foot for the rotary, I don't ever use that thing unless it's like a baseball bat or something. If that's what you're talking about, the little whatever that thing is.
Perimeter alert, delivery box.
The tail wheel or whatever. I don't use that thing very often. I don't really mount it per se. So that's not something that I use a lot of. The rollers. Yeah, I don't use those, that little thing. Matter of fact, I don't even know where mine's at. Like I use the rotary, the chuck. Like I said, if I was doing like a baseball bat or something and I needed to support the other end of it, maybe I'd use it then, but I've never had a need. Even doing 40-ounce tumblers with the RA2 or the RA3, I just don't use it. So I can't really give you any suggestions on that. The only time I've used that little tail wheel was doing rolling pins, like for doing biscuits or whatever. I was engraving some rolling pins, and I used it to make sure that because the rolling pin, they're like 24 inches or whatever, or well, they're about 16 inches. And so I put it under the end of it to keep it from pulling loose. But other than that, I can't think of anything else I've used that thing on.
Duke's asking, what's your opinion on the X-Tool P2S? Looking at getting my first CO2 laser.
You start engraving these, then you might need it, but you can actually take this off, the outside little things. Take the handles off. What was it now? Question?
So, Duke's asking, what's your opinion on the X-Tool P2S? Looking at getting my first CO2 laser. So David and I both had the original P2, and if you're used to the X-Tool kind of ecosystem, it is a great option. It does pretty well. The P2S is better than the P2. They upgraded the air assist. They added the red beam pathing. I think they improved the exhaust setup as far as the screens and
I
stuff.
think the air assist got a little bit of a beef too, didn't it?
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, okay.
So from those standpoints, it's not a bad deal. It helps to maybe just shop around because again, I feel like they throttle their machines to improve the success rate of the end user. But that comes at a cost of, overall speed. Its acceleration is a little bit slower. It kind of, in certain things, when you use their tools and you say, I'm going to do this type of setup, maybe a rotary engraving with this, you'll actually notice that they don't allow you to bump it up to as fast as it can go. So they definitely put some kind of, like the bowling alley bumper rails you put up for the kids. they want you to eventually hit most of the pins and not go in the gutter.
Yeah, I found out the other day on the P2 when you're doing the rotary, it'll only let you go to 200 millimeters per second on speed.
Yeah.
So even though this is a 55 watt CO2 laser, I'm only able to go 200 on my speed, which means I'm only running 15% power output, and it's taking 30 minutes to do a tumbler. Now, the tumbler turned out perfect. Like, it worked. But if you're trying to do 100 tumblers and they're taking 30 minutes a piece, if that's what you're trying to do, then you can do it on like the G3 blue laser, that's light burn controlled or whatever, and do it a lot faster. So it just depends on what you want from a machine. But I'm like you, they throttle it to keep you out of the ditch is what they do, because they're like, hey, if we let them run this too fast, they're either going to tear the machine up or they're going to have crappy results, and they're going to be fussing about why our machine has crappy results. And so, they slow you down, and it does a good job, but it's not I've got 300 tumblers to have done by the end of the week kind of machine. That's just not what it's built for.
Yeah.
I like it.
I would look around at the options as well. I mean, depending on what you're looking for, if you're comfortable and already have light burn. Now, keep in mind, if you're going from a diode machine to a CO2 and you had like the core version of light burn and you jump into like a DSP controller, you're going to need to upgrade to the Pro, I think is what they call it. So there'll be some side expenses there, but yeah, it can also unlock a much faster machine for you just by getting kind of outside that ecosystem.
Yeah, Jake says, never heard of rugby. I've got a video to where I actually go and kind of bring you guys along to go get some of it, some material. Rugby is a architectural, they call it Rugby Architectural Materials, I think is the actual name of the company. It's typically most of their locations are in the Southeast, but I think they've got them all over. They've got one in Atlanta. They got one here in Chilton County. I think they got one in Birmingham, and then there's a few others. But they sell MDF plywoods. Like you can get all of the exotic, like rough cut lumber, stuff like that. It's not your big box store. It's like a huge warehouse with almost every type of wood you can think of in there, from 3 millimeter birch all the way up to 3/4 birch to 1 inch MDF. I mean, they've got, they've got a bunch of stuff. They've got 20-foot sections of black walnut 3 inches thick. I mean, they've got all kinds of stuff in there. It is a toy store for people that like doing woodworking. And they have different grades of material and stuff like that as well. So, but they sell a lot to like cabinet makers and stuff like that. Like these companies that rip out cabinets every day that have big, 10x5 CNCs just tearing down cabinets or whatever. That's who they sell to. But now they will, especially if you have a business account set up with them and everything. I usually go and I'll buy 14 sheets of 1/4 inch birch at a time. I get 7 finished and 7 finished on one side and 7 sheets non-finished. And then I bring it back and I rip it down, and that is exactly what it takes to fill up my storage that I have. It's 7 sheets of each. Anything more than that, I have to just prop it up against the wall until I clear out some space. But they have, like I said, they have all kinds of material. The stuff that I get is only $20 for a 4x8 sheet. I think it's like $22 for a 4x8 sheet, but it's really good. It's not like the regular Luan. It's not. It doesn't have the thicker veneers like some of the more advanced birch they have does, but they have that too. It's just I think it's like $30-something a sheet for it, as opposed to the 20-something I'm paying for the stuff that I'm getting. But if I have a need for some other material, I just go pick it up. So, but it's cool. It's a cool little place. I like it so far. Oh, did y'all see my new stuff? I gotta show y'all my new things I got. Wait a minute, who was it? Somebody was saying something about they made some hat. Oh, Gerald Grady said, thanks, Clack, for showing the hat holder. I put a bottom in mine and a wallet holder part. Ended up selling 20 to different people at $35 a piece. Cool. Yeah, I sold, which I was making them for a small business here in town, but I wound up making over 30 of them. And I sold them to them for like 20 a piece, but I didn't have to deal with the end customer. So that's kind of good. They made a little bit of money off of it, and I didn't have to deal with customer pickups or anything like that. I took them, dropped them off at their shop, and I was done with it. So yeah, good deal. Glad you got some sales off of it. Let me show y'all what I got now. I ordered a bunch of these from JDS the other day. Bam! These are koozies. Of course, I had to make me a little insert with my 3D printer because y'all know these things. I don't know how many of y'all have these, but these aren't always like flat. Like they want to try to puff up and everything when you're engraving them. So I made this on my 3D printer, and it basically just like you push it down in here. I have several of them, and you just push it down in there, and it holds this thing open and flat. And then over here on my G3, I have this little bracket, and this thing just kind of snaps in right there, and that holds them to where I can engrave them. So this is going to be one of my products that I'm taking with me to the Peach Jam. Is going to be these guys. I'm gonna do me some of them with the Clack Shack logo on there, as well as I've made my own little logo. So yeah, so there you go. But I've got these in black, pink, and the white. The black engraves silver. So. Woo! Here's the black. And again, with my little thing here, take that, snaps in there. There we go. So it works out pretty good. Take that, put it in there. It doesn't let it move. A little slack right there. But yeah, that's it. But yeah. That turned out, those turned out really nice. And I think my cost on this one, don't look at this one. This was test settings. I think my cost on these ended up being $1.25 a piece. I bought a case of each, so it's like $1.25 each. I think is what my cost ended up being through JDS. But yeah, I'll show you the pink one too. And I'm probably going to do here in a little while, I'm probably going to do some ribbon ones for October for breast cancer awareness or whatever on these pink ones because it's a pretty cool color. So, yeah. Just another product because I have found that at events, small things are where the money's at.
So JR's following up question with CO2 is would better cutting versus RF dot size, couldn't you overcome that with longer focus lens? And yeah, you could definitely compensate with that and help out. But I think for some people who aren't going to want to switch lenses, they're going to struggle a little bit more with the cut depth versus the engraving on maybe what might be considered the stock lens on some of those. So I'd be curious to see how they're balancing that out. Maybe on the higher power ones, they're doing a different lens to kind of find the medium and sacrifice a bit of the engraving quality. But yeah, it's definitely something that could help find that balance. But general consensus is if you're doing a lot of thicker cutting, you want the raw power over the detail.
Yeah. Medic's asking, do I sell that koozie insert? Not currently. I just created it the other day, and I've been kind of busy. So not at the moment. I will be doing probably going to do a video on those, like especially the koozies, and I got some other things too. Y'all don't make fun of me on this one, Steve. But my wife said she thought it would be a good idea. So I also have these little sling bag pocketbooks things for women that are made from laserable leather. So I saw them on JDS and I was like, hey, I wonder what that would be like. So it's like a little pocketbook looking thing. It's got like a little foam spot here. It's got magnetic, like a little magnetic holder there. It's got a little zipper pouch here for like ID, driver's license, credit card, or whatever. And then it's got a bigger pouch in here for, maybe if you need to carry something a little larger inside here. So for like when you're traveling or something like that, and you just want a little small bag for women, it'd be pretty well. And this whole thing is made out of laserable leather, the PU leather or whatever. So Brandy's supposedly going to get me some stuff together that she wants to put on here, and I'm going to make her one. But I ordered a case of these too, which if I don't sell them, I'm going to be regretting that probably, because these were not cheap. These were not $1. But I got a bunch of these as well. But like I said, it's something that you could literally, the woman could throw over their head or over their shoulder and tote it, as opposed to having to have a bag to put it in. So I got to get around to doing those this week, because these are going to be one of my things at Peach Jam. I'm going to engrave the one for Brandy and have it as my demo on the table. And then after the event, she gets to take it home with her and keep it or whatever. But that's the plan. And I saw somebody asking me which machine I used to do the koozies with. And I used the G3 to do them, which is this machine here. It's a 40-watt blue, 60-watt MOPA, but I used the 40-watt blue to do it. The koozies are engravable with pretty much any laser because it's a laserable material. But the blues do a really good job on it. So if you have a F2, F2 Ultra, F1 Ultra, laser pecker, any of the blue diodes would do a good job on the koozies, because it doesn't take a whole lot of power to engrave those. So, Rob, I got all that stuff from JDS. It's a supply company, a wholesale supplier. So you have to have an account with them, and you have to like be able to buy wholesale, which means like to set up an account, you have to send them your certificate from the state saying that you're registered to pay sales tax, because like there's no sales tax on this stuff because you're buying it wholesale to be resold. And so when you buy it, they don't charge you sales tax. They expect you to charge the sales tax when you sell it. So it's a little bit different than buying from like Amazon or somebody like that. But they have all kind of, JDS has all kinds of stuff. I just went looking for some stuff to add to my arsenal for the events that we got coming up. Ryan said he needs one of the bags. His wife wants one of the bags. Yeah, let me see if I can find my JDS account and log in here while Steve talks to you guys, so I can look and see what the actual SKU for those are. Yeah, Brandy said she felt like she wanted one, so I'm going with them. And it's right here at the Peach Jam event. So if anybody that's going to be there competing with me is watching, maybe they won't have time to steal my idea. I've been trying to keep that one under my hat just in case. Yeah, I paid my cost per unit was $23.50 on the purses. So those are not going to be cheap. And it don't have a clickable link.
So Bill Henson's asking or stating, thanks, Steve, for the information on buying a 3D printer. I'm leaning towards getting the Snapmaker. Anything I should know before buying? No, the Snapmaker U1, from what we've heard from others and whatnot, does seem like a really good printer. And especially if you want to do any sort of multicolor, you're going to save time and filament on that. So I would just do some research on what you wanted to do and stock up on a few. Do some research on what filaments work well with that printer, because some printers like certain kinds better than others, and just get some and plan to play. Do some search for what people say as far as initial calibration or settings you might want to look at, and there's a million things out there that you can print for free. So I would go out there and just start with some simpler things, maybe some calibration cubes just to get used to it, and play with some of those initial designs that are out there just to kind of get a feel for it and to be able to tweak your printer in your area. And then have fun, but just kind of be patient with it. Anything new you learn, there's gonna be some failures. So.
See, it's not their website's a little weird. It's not letting me. You can get a direct link to it. Hang on. Okay, I guess this is taking me back to my ordered. If you'll search, I'm going to give you the SKU for them. But if you go to JDS, if you have an account and search, this is the SKU. So if you put that in there and search it, it'll bring it up. It's here they are, but it's like this isn't clickable. I don't know why this isn't clickable. And so when and if I search for it, it takes me here. So I can't get you a direct link because this link is just going to be to my search. So yeah, but that's them right there. And it's laserable leatherette so that you can engrave a logo or whatever on them. Like I said, it looked like a pretty decent little project. And like I said, Brandy said she wanted one. She'd be my guinea pig. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put a logo on there and see what she thinks about it. So there we go. But that's the SKU number. If you'll just search for that, you can find it. And no, I don't have an affiliate account or anything like that with JDS. It's like that's just the stuff that I went shopping the other day for the event, getting ready for the event, trying to add some new things. Every year I try to add something, especially the small things, because I'm moving further and further from the larger items. Because the small light stuff is easy to it's portable, easy to get in, easy to get out, and the profit margins are typically pretty good on them. Now the purses, I don't know how much profit's going to be in those, so we'll see. They may just end up being gifts.
Kevin says he created an image in ChatGPT and brought it into Lightburn to trace to create an SVG. It traced great and engraves as expected, but when I take that SVG into WeCreate software, it blacks out everything. So what you might probably want to check is to see if WeCreate has combined or flattened that SVG into kind of one item as opposed to individual ones. What often is happening is it's seeing them as individual ones, so your outline basically wants to be fully filled in, and it's not looking at this is cut out of the interior parts aren't cut out of the exterior ones. So I haven't used the WeCreate software in a while. I don't remember exactly what their terminology on it is, but oftentimes it's either a combine or a flatten feature in the software that you'll want to look for, and then that should put all those elements to one so that they're the interior shapes are actually cut out of the separate the exterior ones instead of like separate layers on top of each other.
Yeah, the other thing that I would say too is sometimes like SVG files, there's a couple different variations of SVGs, and sometimes I'll get a hold to a file that I have to take and put it in the Inkscape and then export it out of Inkscape as a classic SVG to get it to work with some softwares. So push comes to shove, you may want to look at bringing it in Escape and seeing if you can transform it there. So Fluffy. She's like, I gotta go outside. Yeah, directed text said $22 of the purse. You don't have a lot of room for profit. No, but people will pay crazy amounts of money for custom though. That's the one thing that I have learned. If they can decide what goes on it, they'll pay a little extra money. And you got to think about it. $22 ain't what $22 used to be. Like you can't really get one meal for $22 these days. So
I don't know. I bought lunch for the two of us when we were leaving Rockler. We got two of us ate at KFC for $20.
You must have got it off the budget menu.
No, it was a couple of whatever their meal things were, and drinks and everything. So
yeah, Diamond State, it did have a belt loop. Yeah, it did have a belt loop. It could be used for a lot of different things. That included.
Barry's asking thoughts on the Monport GA 100 watt fiber laser. Looking to get my first fiber laser soon. I've only had 20 watt fibers, so can't really speak to that one. I haven't had a Monport fiber laser, so I can't speak to that either.
I've got a 30 watt MOPA, the GA30. I've got it. It's okay. I mean, it's no frills. It's just standard pedestal galvo.
So yeah, sorry we don't have a lot of insight on that for you.
Yeah. I don't have 100 watt though. I got 60s.
So Rich says one lasers come with a lens that simply flips over and the RF becomes long focused, and you just add 14.5 millimeters to your focus. RF lasers cut better than glass tube lasers with the right air assist pressure. Yeah, I would think in theory it's got a higher concentration of power into a smaller spot, so that it should, but it's definitely going to require the right focus length, and air assist makes a huge difference. So nice that they have a solution for that. I don't know about the others, how they handle it. I know like the X-Tool P3, they have, their long, short, and medium that just, it moves it mounts into a kind of a slide-in bracket that then puts the lens in the right place so that the autofocus stays the same, but it's just moving it in that focus tube. So it'd be nice if some of the others maybe had here, put this one in for your cutting and this one in for your detail. But because, yeah, swapping lenses on some of these lasers is a little surgical.
Yeah. Yeah, the Thunder, the Thunder. I went in the other day to Tim's and played around with the Thunder up there a little bit, and they have the two little thumb screws that you take the lens out to clean it or whatever. So I'm assuming with it, I haven't ever changed the lens on that machine because all they do is engrave, but I'm assuming with them, you would just unscrew those two thumb screws and then slide the other one in where that one came from. But yeah.
Chris says I got 2 kids meals. I didn't. I did only get like a 2-piece meal. I'm trying not to
trying to do better.
I'm trying not to overeat. And then I think Mark got like one of their bowl things, but they both came with drinks and whatnot. So it is possible, but it is hard. It's hard to eat anywhere for one person for less than $12 to $15, and then your whole family. Yeah, it feels like you're spending spending a lot. So
yeah, I saw the other day where they were talking about like the average family nowadays, because everybody likes to eat out and call like Uber Eats and all that. They were talking about the average family today spends more on food than we did on housing and utilities back in the 90s. Like it's the way the dollar has transformed, because back then like gas was like what, 89 cents, 87 cents. And now it's like $4 and something. So
yeah, I mean, I still have 3 young adult boys at home, and we go to about 3 grocery stores a week, and it's easily averaging about $400 a week in groceries. So yeah, I mean,
more than your house costs.
more than my mortgage payment ever was. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Rich says one laser is magnetic. It takes about 5 seconds to remove the lens, and Aeon uses the same process. Yeah, it's great to see them doing that. Some of the older lasers I've had, you had to like disconnect air lines, unscrew the focus tube, and then there was a center, an internal ring kind of bolt that you had to take out. It was not something you wanted to do all that often, but I've seen more and more of them have more like kind of cartridge based or quick swap kind of things that makes it a lot easier, which is also good because you're more likely to check your lens and do maintenance on it.
Yes. Yeah, I had somebody today ask me how was the laser pecker as far as maintenance compared to the We Create. I was like, well, you don't have to flip it upside down to clean it.
Yeah.
So there's that, you know.
Yeah, when the module comes out easy, that makes half the battle. But you know, then you still and then I think on that one, what the fan comes out fairly easy as well.
Yeah.
So it they put some thought into the design on that one from a maintenance standpoint.
Yeah. Brian says, when you're like 9 feet tall, I thought you would have to eat more than a normal height person. Surprisingly or not, Brian, I think I actually consume more food than he does, even though he considers me short. I think I eat more than that. I say that I've cut my eating way back lately because it was just getting on me. I'm trying to do a little bit better myself. So I've cut my portion size down tremendously here lately. So it ain't helping a whole lot, but I'm trying. Rob saying that Lynn's situation is the only issue he has with his home tech. Yeah, some of them are a little, not quite so easy.
Yeah. A lot of the bench top type lasers, everything's kind of compacted and condensed, and so it makes maintenance and moving things around and taking things out a little bit more difficult. And then you add in an autofocus, and there's usually more apparatus there to work around or have to disassemble. So all the bells and whistles are nice until you got to fix something.
Yep. Paul saying that I have some multi-layer SVG files. When I shrink them down to the size of the Christmas ornament, the top layer is so narrow that it can be very fragile and hard to assemble. Would offset help make it thicker? Yeah, you could do that. I mean, you could do it as like a cut offset, or you could just go in if you're using Lightburn and just manually offset it to make it a little bit thicker. There's sometimes too, I mean, maybe you don't need that element, maybe it's not bringing a lot to the table and you could, do away with it. Or if there's like 3 little spiky things or whatever, you could just do one and make it bigger, make it wider. So I think that's probably going to be a design modification needed. So in my opinion, like I said, because I don't like dealing with little thin pieces. They burn up easy. They're hard to deal with. Like I said, if you're doing a Christmas ornament or something, you have to be careful not to break them. They are a bit of a pain. So what say you there, Steve?
Yeah, no, when you're shrinking things down, detail gets lost. And so it's okay to make modifications to it. It'll actually look better that way. So like you say, maybe taking out some of the smaller details that just become a little bit of a smudge, but keep kind of like the main primary outlines. You'll probably have the same effect, but it'll look better and it will cut better. So I would agree with that.
Yeah. Gonna get to learn node editing if you don't already know it. That's when it's fun. Because sometimes it's better just take stuff like that out completely and be done with it.
Even if you get like someone's logo in a certain font, but say you're working with a CNC machine and you can't just quite get that detail, like you say, node editing that or on the laser as well, making minor tweaks to it. A lot of times the human eye isn't going to notice that until you like really make a drastic change. But softening a curve or making something just a little flow a little bit better for the machine to cut versus, visual optics. Unless they're like really big changes, probably not going to notice.
Yeah.
Santa's Laser Engraving says, just got an email for a show I was trying to get in October a few minutes ago. It's the first time that Santa might or might not work in my favor. They plan on Santa picks, so I'm not sure if they have one. Well, good luck to you on that. And props to you for planning ahead. A lot of us are always doing last minute stuff, but it's definitely not too early to start thinking about, fall and Christmas time stuff, because that is going to be on us and over before you can get out the Thanksgiving turkey. So
yeah, it won't be long. Diamond State says, dating myself, but I remember when gas went from 25 to 50 cents. I don't know that I remember that. I might have been around, but I probably wasn't very old at the time. So,
yeah, I remember, sub $1 gas, but
yeah, I've bought some 87, 89 cents a gallon gas before. Like that was back a long time ago when I was younger, but when I was riding my old whooppersickle.
Yep. Anyway, we're getting towards the end.
Yes.
So, any last minute questions? Get them in now, because we'll only go over like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you're gonna be near Minnesota, was it July the 5th? We're gonna be doing our live show from Steve's house. And then on the 6th, we're planning on having a get together somewhere in the vicinity. We don't know for sure where yet, but Steve's got a kind of a RSVP list to go in, so we get a head count. And we're just trying to get a head count for who's going to be there. And there will be some giveaway items as well. I guess we're going to probably release that information a little closer to time on, drawings, what's available, whatever the case may be. But there will be some stuff going home with people. If you have a vehicle capable of hauling bigger stuff like a pickup truck or an SUV, this would be a good day to drive it rather than the Prius, because some of the gifts may be substantial.
Well, you can get a lot in a Prius. You fold down those seats.
Yeah, but there will be some giveaways. Steve's having a bit of a clean out at his place. And then, of course, in August, we've got the event coming up in Texas as well. And I'll be driving over to Texas. And so I plan on some of those things that I've been trying to get rid of. We'll try to communicate with some of you guys and see who can get what. And I'll bring some stuff with me when I go over then. I also, like I said, constantly trying to get stuff out of here. I had a few machines I put up for sale a couple of weeks ago, and I got rid of some of it, but some of it I hadn't had any takers on. So it's things like that I can't really readily ship. That's kind of hard to get rid of. The small stuff's easy to get rid of. It's just the bigger stuff. But I try to keep the small stuff for the member area, because we like to do our giveaways and stuff like that from time to time for some of you guys. So, but there's that.
So yeah, I will be, speaking of that, I put a post out. So if you're a channel member for me, check for that. I'm hoping to do a members only live later this week when, we'll hang out for a bit and, have some fun. And, then, yeah, if you're in the area on the 6th and want to sign up at that RSVP, because I will be sending out information that if things change. I'm looking for a good site. I was offered my friend Mark Gunflint Designs. He said, if you want to come out and hang out in the barn, it's 30 miles to the south though, or 30 minutes to the south though. So I'm trying to keep it in Mankato.
Yeah.
But we'll find a place to hang out for a bit and then see how that goes. But yeah, looking for hopefully good weather. I mean, it does look like it's going to warm up some. mid 80s, but right now it's all like partly cloudy. Not a huge, I mean, like 20% chance of rain around that time. So if that holds, there's a couple of nice outdoor places we'll go to and make it really easy for people. But
yeah,
more details as kind of the weather locks in, and I've got some feelers out to a couple of places that have like the meeting room, banquet room, or whatever that hopefully aren't too expensive. That we'd be able to do something at. So
yeah. Diamond State says it'll be a 12-hour ride to Minnesota. He'll see us in Grapevine, but we'll be there. Like I said, come out, hang out with us. We're going to try to plan something over in Texas as well, to where you guys we can all go out and get something to eat, or just hang out in the lobby or something. We're going to have a hangout time while we're over there for sure. That's going to be happening. We'll be staying at the was it Gaylord Texan. So if you're staying at that location, then like I said, the lobby will probably be a good little meetup spot.
Well, and they have said they're setting up kind of a good kind of hangout area as well for people to sit down and network and do some other things. So there's definitely going to be some time just to chat. Their hotel block, I think they said, I forget when it expires, but they were over half booked, and once those are gone, they pretty much guarantee you won't get a hotel room there. So don't wait too long. You don't have to pay until you arrive. So, it's, if you think you're going to go, you might want to get that reserved. They do have vendor room only tickets that are free. So you don't necessarily have to sign up for the full thing. And I believe they also said they're releasing single day tickets as well. If there's only one day you can be there. So, but, barring emergencies coming up, we plan on being there the whole time. So whatever day you're there, you should hopefully be able to run into us.
Yeah, I'm going to be coming into town whatever the day the check-in is. Was it the 28th or whatever day, like the early registration for the class and everything. I'll be coming in then. So yeah, pretty much the entire event.
You're getting in the day before I think it really kicks off.
Yeah.
Because it kicks off Thursday, like at 1 p.m. And I think you said you're getting there Wednesday evening.
Wednesday night, yeah. Yeah, I think Wednesday's my drive day. But I didn't want to be in a rush, and I wanted to have time to get there. So I just decided that I would just take it easy getting there. What's up, sir? Mr. Bearded Viking in the house. How are you? I wonder if are you coming over to the Maker event there, Daniel? You going to be over there? I haven't seen a lot of people saying that they're going to be there, which hey, that's I guess good or bad. But yeah, I know it's kind of conflicting with IWF over at Atlanta because I got an invite to go hang out with the guys over there.
No, I think it's the Carbide Create event.
The Carbide, the Vectric
Carbide. Carbide's event is in Atlanta that weekend.
You talking about Carvco?
Yeah. Carvco.
Okay. Yeah. Carvco's event is in Atlanta, but IWF, if I'm not mistaken, is also.
It's in Atlanta, but it's not that weekend. The Carvco event is in Atlanta that weekend.
Okay. For some reason, why was I thinking that the IWF was over there too? Huh. But yeah, the Carvco event was the one that is the same exact days. So yeah, and then Vectric has their event coming up in October, and I'm tempted to go to that one. I don't know yet. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if I'm gonna make it to Tennessee or not. I could have swore I looked. I was trying to look at see what the schedule says.
Yeah, IWF might be that same weekend too.
Friday, August the 28th. Yeah. Because I was thinking Carvco and IWF were like right there together. Yeah, it's 25th through the 28th are the trade show floors for IWF. But yeah, there's no way like I said, right now I had to pick one, and to be honest with you, I didn't even know IWF was on the calendar until after I done booked the maker event. But I think the maker event is more suitable for what we do. Anyway, IWF is more, from what I've seen, like table saws and stuff like that a lot of times. So Seth said his wife found a yarn event in Texas the same week, so she's coming with him. Hey, there you go. And Brad, I think Brad lives over that way, so we know Brad will be there. We'll get to see him over there. Medic saying he or she, Medic 458, saying they're going to be there. That Bearded Viking said he's not going to make it. Well, we'll be thinking about you. Actually, we probably won't, but we'll tell you we're thinking about you. Okay. All right. Well, guys, we're 5 minutes over. Which one of you guys gives directions at these events? Gives directions? We both give you directions.
I'll happily give you directions, but generally like I was in downtown Chicago one time, and a person came up and asked me how to get somewhere, and not wanting to look like a tourist, I gave him directions somewhere. I have no idea if it was the right directions or not. But
yeah. Mercy. Oh, me. Jake Briley saying I'm off for summer, so I might try to make the catch in the meeting in Minnesota. Hey, just go let us know you're going to be there. And like I said, we'll have more information leading up to it. But that's only a couple weeks away, right? Yeah.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah, it's only a couple weeks out. So, yeah. But it'll be cool. It's going to be my first time that far north. It'll be the furthest. I've been to New York City currently upstate New York is the furthest north I have been. And that was during Hurricane Sandy. I went up there and I worked private security for some of the, was it Kinder Morgan? I did some security details for Kinder Morgan up there in New Jersey, New York, and upstate New York. We did some stuff. So currently that is the furthest north I have ever been. We're kind of.
You'll be further north than some Canadians.
Yeah. I noticed the other day that there's actually, we could go to Canada, some parts of Canada, and it'd be shorter ride than going to your house. I was like, that's crazy. That is crazy. Do you got the link for the sign up again, Rob saying? But yeah. But sign up, let us know if you're going to be there, because we do want to try to get a head count. If we need to, we're going to, like I said, we're going to try to keep it to places that will either let us use it and not charge us or charge us minimally. But we got to know how many people we got coming, because we don't want to get into a venue to where everybody's like elbow to elbow. We want to have a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah.
So wherever we go, whatever we do, that's kind of why we want to get a head count.
I'm thinking
because it's just going to be 3 guys sitting around, and we can just go to like a local pub or something.
I'm thinking laser tag would be good. Fitting, right?
I can't run. Y'all gonna get me quick.
I'm just gonna ask him, can I bring my own laser?
Yeah, I refuse to run. So, look there, Cody in the house for all your CNC bit needs. Steve's gonna be needing some bits pretty soon, I'm sure. Maybe.
We'll see.
All right, Cody, you made it just in time to say goodbye, sir. Because I think that's about all we got here. Like I said, y'all got the current events. I will be in the shop this week a lot. I got to get my yard work caught up because yard work's done got out of hand. We have been living in the rainforest here for about the past 3 weeks. I don't think we've had but a couple of days that it hadn't rained. And the poor robots, man, I have put the hours on those guys trying to keep the grass caught up. So I got to get some yard work done this week, but I am also having a bit of a time getting jobs and stuff done and getting ready for Peach Jam this week. Mark said, just Googled Clanton to Mankato, 60 hours. I did Sacramento, California to Seattle, Washington in one day, and that was 16 hours. Yeah, it's 16. It's a good 16-hour ride.
The last time I left Clacks was last year after Workbench Con, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was threats of an ice storm coming through, so I drove the whole 16 hours. It was that, or my option was to stay overnight in kind of the middle of Iowa, where I was about 4 hours from home, and I was just like, it was about 9 p.m. and I'm like, well, it's either some coffee and loud stereo, or $100 hotel night and then risk the ice storm. So I kept plugging through.
Yeah, well, we're gonna try to do it in 2 hops. Like I plan on driving for like 8 hours or so, and then finding a place to kind of hang out, and then picking up again and driving, the next day or so. So
St. Louis is about the midpoint there. And so,
yeah, and they're supposed to be having a big fireworks show at the Arch too. So I'm kind of thinking, maybe we stop off for a fireworks show at the Arch and then proceed. But I think the dates aren't going to line up right for it, because it's the fireworks show, if I'm not mistaken, is the night of the 4th, and I don't know if that's not going to really. It's going to mess up my schedule if I do that. So, but anyway. Y'all have a good one, and I appreciate it. Enjoyed sitting around talking with you guys. And if you hadn't already, subscribe, follow, like, share, all the good stuff. And we'll see you next week.
Yep, we will see everyone next week. Otherwise, keep an eye out on our socials and our YouTube pages, and for any fun content that we get into this week.
That it? See you guys.